Quite a character, that guy, though. Tell us a little bit about his story.
So Kiba Mengo, he was in DRC, and he was a child soldier. So he was drafted into the war, the Civil War, when he was about 11, 12 years old. You know, imagine 11, 12 years old, when most kids are starting secondary school. He was forced to fight in a war in the jungle, and it was just proper hardcore, traumatic. He got blown up, lost his eye, managed to escape from the army, and then trained himself as a boxer and became welterweight champion of the Congo with one eye.
One eye?
With one eye. And then he set up his own boxing school to help kids who've been traumatised by the war and to give kids more opportunities. And, I mean, just an incredible character with so much heart and so much stories to tell, yeah.
I mean, that's incredible as well to meet someone like that, because I know you've done so much for campaigning for disabled sports people, and to see him there in Africa doing the same, really, just by living it.
Yes.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. I think all throughout my journey across Africa, I was just totally humbled by the people that I met. In Mogadishu, I met a group of young girls who play basketball, able-bodied basketball, but Mogadishu was taken over by Al-Shabaab, and because of Sharia law, women are not allowed to play sport. So out on the streets, they're covered in hijabs, burqas, so you can't tell, and then they go to this basketball court that's hidden and tucked away, change into their basketball gear, and I turn up in my wheelchair. They're sort of shocked, thinking, who's this guy in a wheelchair? Let me have a free shot. So I knock down a few shots in their face, and I'm right, let's take him on. But then they tell me the story of how important it is for them to play basketball, because it's going to change the lives and the positivity that it gives to other Muslim women around the world and in their country.
But they're having to do that in secret, knowing that they are breaking the rules.
Exactly, and risking their lives. You know, I look and I think of all the things that I gave up and sacrificed to play sport, but they're actually risking being stoned to death or murdered for playing the sport. And I was just incredibly humbled by meeting them. And just, that's the thing about Africa. It's full of amazing characters. And as you said earlier, I wanted to make this documentary because the narrative so much about Africa has been about, you know, war, crime, poverty. And I wanted to say, yes, there is that, but there's much, much more to this continent.
It's a very, very varied continent, actually, isn't it? Culturally, landscape-wise. I mean, people lump everything together.
Yes.
Those Michael Burke
Pictures,
Ethiopian reports that led to Live Aid and all the things that came after it. It's what a lot of people see Africa as.
Well, they look at Africa as just one country. It's a continent, huge continent, 3 times the size of Europe, 3,000 languages spoken all over Africa, the youngest population in the world. I think between 15 to 24, the youth population, there are 200 million people, and that's over 200 million people, and that's set to double by 2055.
And what about for you? Because it must have been rather personal for you. Your parents brought you from Nigeria to the UK when you were 3, in part because, I understand it, they believed that it would be easier for you and you'd have more opportunity with your disabilities here than there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just eternally grateful for what my parents did for me, you know, to bring me over. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, and I go back in the first episode to Nigeria and I meet a group of guys who got polio, who I've met before, and they can't afford wheelchairs. They're basically travelling around on skateboards, which are like pieces of, not even proper skateboards, just a piece of wood with wheels
together.
Yeah, and they're just incredible characters who've set up their own business. But I look at it and I think, would I have been able to do the things that I'm doing now if my parents hadn't have brought me to the UK? But my hope is, you know, from what I've seen in Africa, is that will change.